In the final individual race of her legendary career, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce handed her country's entire sprinting future directly into the hands of a 21-year-old from rural Jamaica. Months later, that same 21-year-old helped break a world record that had never been broken before, twice, in the space of 24 hours. If you don't know the name Tina Clayton yet, by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why the greatest female sprinter Jamaica has ever produced looked at this kid and effectively said, "It's yours now." Because this story has one of the wildest twists in recent track history. And if you want to catch every one of these breakdowns as they happen, hit like and subscribe to Speed Academics right now. Trust me, you'll want to be here for this one. Let's start with who was doing the handing off. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is, by any measure, the greatest female sprinter Jamaica has ever produced. 10 gold medals at the World Championships, 3 Olympic golds, an unprecedented 5 individual 100-meter world titles. After 18 years at the very top of the sport, she retired in September 2025 at the World Championships in Tokyo, in front of a sold-out crowd of 60,000 people. In her own words, after that final race, Fraser-Pryce said she was confident she had passed the baton to a new generation of Jamaican sprinters, and she named the exact person she meant. 21-year-old Tina Clayton. Hold on to that detail, because what happens next makes that comment look almost prophetic. First, you need to know where Tina Clayton actually came from. She was born on August 17, 2004, in Westmoreland, one of the most rural parishes in Jamaica. 5 minutes before her identical twin sister Tia, their mother had been a sprinting prodigy in her own youth, though her career never reached the international stage. Whatever speed ran in that family clearly hadn't finished expressing itself yet. A coach named Michael Dyke first spotted the twins before they had even turned 9 years old, watching them compete at a national primary schools championship. He didn't wait around. He went directly to their mother and arranged for them to eventually join his program at Edwin Allen High School. A few years later, the family made the 145-kilometer journey from Westmoreland to Frankfield, in the parish of Clarendon, so the twins could train under Dyke properly. This is not a story about a family with connections or a sprinting academy with a built-in pipeline to the top. This is 2 girls from one of the country's poorest, most rural parishes relocating their entire lives because one coach saw something at a primary school meet. By the time the twins arrived, Dyke had already built Edwin Allen into a powerhouse, an 8-time Jamaican high school champion program. He remembered that first moment clearly, years later, seeing them race in the under-9 category and going straight to their mother without waiting for anyone to ask. On February 26, 2019, Tia set a 100-meter world U15 best of 11.37 seconds. The record lasted barely a month. Tina, the firstborn by 5 minutes, answered by running 27 seconds to beat her own twin sister in their first official head-to-head race at Champs, Jamaica's fiercely competitive high school championships. Tina called it her most memorable win to date. That sibling rivalry pushed both of them forward for years. At the 2021 Champs, Tia false started in the 100-meter final, costing the twins a shot at finishing first and second together. Tina, devastated for her sister, composed herself and won the title anyway, in 11.38 seconds. "I was very disappointed at the start," she admitted afterward. "I knew I had to do it for her." Weeks later, at the 2021 World U20 Championships in Nairobi, held on the very day the twins turned 17, Tina won gold in the 100 meters and ran a leg on the Jamaican relay team that set a World U20 record of 42.94 seconds. A year later, at the 2022 World U20 Championships in Cali, Colombia, she defended her individual title with a championship record of 10.95 seconds, and the relay team broke its own World U20 record again, lowering it to 42.59. 2 World U20 titles, multiple world age group records, all before she had even finished high school. It's worth pausing on how genuinely unusual that relay record is. World under 20 records, especially in a relay where 4 separate baton exchanges all have to go perfectly, almost never fall twice in consecutive years with the same core of athletes. Tina ran the same demanding leg, the back straight, the second handoff, on both record-breaking teams, while her sister Tia anchored both. The two of them were, quite literally, rewriting the record books together before either one had a driver's license back home in Jamaica. Then came 2024, an Olympic year, the goal every Jamaican sprinter builds their entire career around. Tina was aiming for Paris. At the national trials, hampered by injury, she finished outside the qualifying positions in her semifinal and did not make the final. Her own twin sister did make the team. Tia went on to reach the Olympic final in Paris, finishing 7th, becoming the breakout story of the Jamaican team that summer, while Tina watched from home. Think about how that actually feels. Growing up, matching your sister win for win, beating her, losing to her, building an entire career side by side, and then watching her walk into the Olympic Games without you. 2 World U20 titles, multiple records, and still, at the one moment that mattered more than any other, it wasn't enough to make the team. That missed Olympic cycle cost her more than just one disappointing season. Tina had already given up her final year of high school, already left her hometown, already committed to intense professional training, and the payoff she was chasing had gone to her twin instead. There's a particular weight to watching someone who shares your exact birthday, your exact training history, and even your face succeed at the thing you just failed to do. It would have been easy to blame the injury, blame the timing, quietly resent the spotlight shifting to her sister for an entire Olympic cycle. Instead, Tina has spoken openly about looking up to Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, specifically because of how the legend handled setbacks. She always shows that it's not about winning at all costs, but about getting back up after setbacks and redeeming yourself, Tina said. That philosophy was about to be tested in the most direct way possible. Quick one for the comments before we get to the redemption. Did you know Tina Clayton's name before this year? I genuinely want to know how many of you were already watching her. Rather than fold under the comparison to her sister, Tina spent the following year rebuilding her race from the ground up, determined to prove the missed Olympics was a delay, not a ceiling. In 2025, she won her first senior national title, crossing the line at the Jamaican Championships in 10.81 seconds, a personal best at the time, ahead of Shericka Jackson, and remarkably, ahead of her own childhood idol, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, in what would turn out to be Fraser-Pryce's final domestic 100-meter race. That result sent her to the World Championships in Tokyo, into a stacked final. Tina ran a new personal best of 76 seconds to win silver, finishing behind only American Melissa Jefferson Wooden's championship record run of 10.61. She beat Shericka Jackson, she beat Sha'Carri Richardson, and she finished ahead of Fraser-Pryce, who closed out her extraordinary 18-year career in 6th place at 11.03 in the very last individual race she would ever run. Later that night, in the 4x100 relay final, Fraser-Pryce ran the opening leg one final time, handing off to Tia Clayton, who handed to Tina, who handed to anchor Jonielle Smith. 3 generations of Jamaican sprinting connected by a single baton in Fraser-Pryce's literal final competitive act. Jamaica won silver. Fraser-Pryce's storied career ended with her handing the future of the sport directly to the Clayton twins, not just in words, but with an actual baton in her actual hand. May 2026, Gaborone, Botswana, the World Athletics Relays. Tina Clayton lines up in the mixed 4x100 relay alongside Akeem Blake, Kadrian Goldson, and her own twin sister, Tia in the heats, on May 2nd. The Jamaican quartet crosses the line in 39.99 seconds, breaking the world record outright. Jamaica becomes the first team in history to run a mixed 4x100 relay under 40 seconds, in front of a field packed with some of the fastest national programs on Earth, none of whom had ever seen that barrier broken before either. 39,099. Then, the very next day, in the final, they do it again. The same 4 athletes line up, run the same race against a field now fully aware of exactly what Jamaica is capable of, and lower their own brand new world record even further, crossing the line in 39.62 seconds. 39,062. A world record broken twice in 24 hours by the same 4 people, with Tina Clayton running a leg both times. Not a junior record, not a national record, not a personal best. An outright world record, the kind that gets written permanently into the history of the sport, set and then immediately rebroken by the very same team, with a 21-year-old who 2 years earlier hadn't even made her own country's Olympic team running a leg of it both times. This is what makes Fraser-Pryce's own words from Tokyo so remarkable in hindsight. She said she believed she'd pass the baton to a new generation and named Tina Clayton specifically, months before that world record in Gaborone ever happened. She wasn't just being polite at her own farewell party, she was pointing, in real time, at exactly the athlete who would go on to help rewrite the record books less than a year later. Tina has never hidden how much that meant to her. "I am inspired by her," she said of Fraser-Pryce. Being able to run the 100 meters final with her felt special. To be able to grace the stage with her on her last championship round, in her going-away party, is always a blessing and an honor. A kid who once watched her sister make an Olympic team without her, lining up next to her own idol in that idol's final race, and beating her. Compare that journey to Fraser-Pryce's own beginnings for a second. Fraser-Pryce grew up in inner-city Kingston in genuine poverty and didn't break on to the senior global stage until her early 20s, well after most of today's prodigies have already turned professional. Clayton's path has been faster and more public, junior world records before she could vote, a missed Olympics broadcast live across the Caribbean, a silver medal earned standing right next to the woman she grew up idolizing. Different roads, same destination. Both became the athlete an entire country pinned its hopes on. The story isn't finished, and Tina Clayton knows that better than anyone. On June 19, 2026, at the Jamaican Championships, Shericka Jackson reclaimed the national 100-meter title, running 10.81 to edge Clayton's 10.85 by just 0.04 of a second. A reminder that nothing in this sport is settled for long, not even for a world record holder. Los Angeles, 2028, Tina Clayton will be 24 years old, heading into an Olympic Games as a world record holder in the relay and a senior world championship medalist in the Open 100. The Commonwealth Games arrive first, later this year, with Clayton expected to anchor Jamaica's hopes once again. If her trajectory holds, the woman who once watched her own twin make an Olympic team without her could walk into LA as the face of Jamaican sprinting, the exact role Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce said in her very last race that she was handing over. So here's the question: does Tina Clayton win an individual Olympic medal in Los Angeles? And does she get her hands on an outright individual world record before she even gets there? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. And if you want to be here for whatever Tina Clayton does next, subscribe to Speed Academics right now, because this story is only just getting started.